from clickorlando.com and WKMG. We're getting results in your neighborhood now at 6 p.m. Now at 6, almost every county in Florida under some sort of warning tonight as a massive hurricane. I mean, this thing's big, is approaching our Gulf Coast. It's threatening the whole state. This is a live look at the conditions in Daytona Beach. Wow. We're not dealing with the brunt of this thing yet, but it's already soggy in spots. The storm now expected to reach Category 4 strength before landfall. That has ratcheted things up. Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Matt Austin.
And I'm Ginger Gaston. Helene will hit land tomorrow evening, but depending on where you live, you may already be feeling the effects. You saw that Daytona Beach camera. That is a different story than we saw yesterday around this time. Tracking a storm like this one requires a team of meteorologists, and you are in luck. We have Samara Kokinos taking a closer look at the county-by-county impacts, but let's begin with meteorologist Jonathan Kegas, who is walking us through the storm's latest track. Jonathan.
Yeah, and the thing about that is those are just some showers and downpours out ahead of the main thing. We're not even close to getting in on some of those outer bands just yet. 5 o'clock advisory. The big change with this is that it's getting bigger in size and the forecast continues to go up, and we may see this go up even further. Now expected to make landfall as a 130 mile per hour Category 4. And what makes this remarkable is it's going to be a very, very large hurricane as well. That is hard to achieve that strength with such a large storm. Typically it's the smaller ones that can get a little stronger. The almost entire state of Florida, at least in some kind of warning right now. Tropical storm warnings extending for all of Central Florida. Hurricane warning for Marion County west of I-75. We're going to be a little bit closer to the landfall site, which is going to be in the western Big Bend, maybe the eastern panhandle of Florida. Again, that's where that hurricane warning extends. And again, likely landfall sometime late tomorrow afternoon, early into the morning, into that 7, 8, 9 o'clock ballpark. Again, as Central Florida is still going to feel impacts well outside of the cone. Here is Helene, again, battling some drier air right now. You see that little speck of different colors in there, the greens and the blues. That's some drier air in there. But it is fending that off tonight, and it's going to get over that extremely warm water. We're likely going to see a much different story by the time we wake up tomorrow morning. Again, the worst of the worst is staying far away from Central Florida, but certainly not a walk in the park for us. For more on that, we're going to send things over to meteorologist Samara Kokinos.
Definitely not a walk in the park for anybody in the state of Florida. Let's take a look at this one more time, because I just, it's kind of an appalling view here. When you look at the entire state covered in some type of warning one way or another, then you look back toward the western half of the panhandle, right? And we have 3 counties, Escambia, Santa Rosa, and Okaloosa County are not under a warning right now, but I have a feeling that that is probably going to change. Meanwhile, as we zoom in a little bit tighter and bring you back into Marion County, I-75 and back to the west under that hurricane warning, everybody else under a tropical storm warning through at least late Thursday. We also run the risk of seeing, of course, some strong to severe thunderstorms. This is going to be primarily Thursday afternoon going into the evening hours. That's when we really start to see a lot of the storminess and the squalls really start to pick up. Notice almost all of Central Florida under that slight risk to see a few strong to severe thunderstorms, with the exception of southernmost Brevard and Osceola County, where they're under a marginal risk. So I do believe that we're going to see all of that extend down into the south as well and give us that slight risk as we head into tomorrow afternoon and evening. I think that's when the strongest thunderstorms are definitely going to be rocking Central Florida. We'll be back to time it all out hour by hour for you, show how long everything is going to last, and of course bring you all of the latest details on Helene in minutes.
All right, Samara, thank you. Helene is expected to make landfall in Florida's Big Bend region.
Yeah, somewhere between Panama City and Cedar Key is where we're expecting this thing. News 6's Eric Sandoval. Just about a halfway mark between those two cities, right in the sights of this thing. He's live in Perry tonight. So Eric, walk us through what you're seeing out there right now.
Yeah, Matt, all afternoon we've been showing you how businesses are getting ready for this here in the downtown area of the city of Perry. This bakery here is all boarded up. So is the jewelry store right next door. Across the street, more stores are boarded up, and all of that continues even down the street from here. Back out here live, it's because of that small town stubbornness, using his words, that Taylor County, in particular, has established a curfew that starts in just about 2 hours. It starts at 8 o'clock. Before then, though, Chief Financial Officer Jimmy Petronas and U.S. Senator Rick Scott are scheduled to hold a press conference at the Emergency Operations Center here in Taylor County. It's basically just right down the street from here. They're going to be talking about the search and rescue efforts that are planned after the storm hits. Of course, we are going to be there. We will stream that live on clickorlando.com. For now, we are live in Taylor County in the Big Bend area of Florida. Eric Sandoval, Getting Results, News 6.
Eric, thank you. I just don't think it's limited to small towns, that stubbornness. It seems like anywhere along the coast, folks refuse to leave. Thank you. Hey, tonight there is heightened concern for people who live in mobile homes, specifically those in Dunellen.
Yeah, it is the only Central Florida city in the hurricane warning zone. Dunellen is in Marion County, about 25 miles west of Ocala. News 6's Emily McLeod is there. All right, and so here's a reminder. Make sure you have our News 6 app. That is where you're going to get the latest storm-related school closures and the hours for sandbag sites closest to your home. It is free in your app store. Don't wait. Just search WKMG.
Well, a matchmaking service under the microscope tonight by our News 6 investigators after a man says his 80-year-old dad paid $8,000 to sign up.
He's not going on a date. He can't go on a date. He has dementia.
Coming up, how our News 6 investigators help that family get results and get their money back. Jonathan.
We have some tropical downpours sliding in out ahead of Helene. There's the main part of the storm near the Yucatan. We're going to talk about the showers going on now. And then, of course, what is to come tomorrow as Helene slides to our west in a few minutes.
You're watching News 6 at 6, getting results for Mineola, Maitland, and all of Central Florida. We'll be right back.
This portion of the news is sponsored by Advent Health, helping the communities we serve to feel whole.
Some would say it's a meteorologist's job to be here during the afternoon showers and major storms. But we disagree. It's not just a job, it's our passion. We work hard analyzing the most advanced maps, radar, and data, bringing you a blueprint so you can take on the day with the ones you love. Getting results by keeping you safe. That's our passion, and that's just what we do.
Stream News 6 whenever you want. Sponsored by T-Mobile. Watch news, weather, and special investigations on your time. You can even tune in to your favorite News 6 podcast. Download News 6 Plus to your smart TV now. We are tracking Hurricane Helene. The storm is now expected to grow into a Category 4 storm before making landfall Thursday evening in the Big Bend area. Impacts from those outer bands are picking up now in Central Florida and will continue overnight. The worst of the weather for us arrives Thursday afternoon and into the evening. Our team of meteorologists will have the latest track coming up in mere moments.
Well, it's a problem many of us may face someday, an elderly parent making some bad financial decisions.
So a viewer contacted us for help after his 80-year-old dad, who reportedly suffers from dementia, paid thousands of dollars to join a dating service. News 6 investigator Mike DeForest joins us now. And Mike, these are always difficult situations, and this one is no different.
Practically every few weeks I hear from someone whose elderly parent bought an expensive car or solar panels or some other high-end purchase that they simply could not afford. Now, those sales contracts are often legally binding, but there are things you can do to protect your aging family members. The matchmaking company kept about $2,500 of the elderly man's money. We do not know why. Representatives from the company did not respond to my numerous emails seeking comment. But Mooney's dad thinks they should have been entitled to the full refund, but they're at least happy they got most of their money back.
Yeah, oh my God. It's one of those stories when you hear it, it does not make sense. What would an 80-year-old be doing paying this much money for matchmaking services?
And that's why if you feel that your elderly parents are getting to that point that they're not making as sharp of decisions as they may have made, as that attorney recommended there, that's when you may want to consider a power of attorney.
When your justification is, I asked your dad and he said he doesn't have dementia. Well, most people who have dementia have no idea. All right, thank you, Mike DeForest. Very important story there. Let's get you over to meteorologist Jonathan Kagas. Of course, he has the latest as we track Helene, this really gigantic storm.
Yeah, it is really big. Wait till you see it on satellite in just 1 second. First, though, I want to get you caught up to speed. We do have a couple of of pretty nasty thunderstorms out there now. This is ahead of Helene with that onshore flow brought on by the developing storm itself. You see all the lightning strikes off of the Space Coast hanging around Daytona Beach. We took a live look outside just a little bit ago, and it was kind of ugly out there. The surf a little rough, but some nasty thunderstorms sliding into Benel, also getting up into Palm Coast and Marineland. A couple of scattered thunderstorms hanging around the villages as well. We'll zoom back out again and again show you that we have a couple of more showers around Titusville, Port St. John, Rockledge. Just some light stuff, mainly dry from Apopka into Tavares, Mount Dora, into Orlando, Kissimmee, St. Cloud as well. This is how it's going to fare for us, in and out of a few of these rain bands out ahead of Helene, and then tomorrow, really the same deal, in and out of some of those outer bands of the storm. Latest on Helene, 85-mile-per-hour hurricane right now, 978 millibars. We're going to watch that through the night, especially, again, for our friends in the Big Bend. This is where they are going to see the biggest impact, of course, where it's expected to make landfall tomorrow, now is a Category 4 hurricane. Here is how things can play out. 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock tonight, there's some of the rain coming in out ahead of the storm. And then you see some of the outer bands really get going overnight into tomorrow. So that is 5 o'clock in the morning, certainly in South Florida starting to see it. Just some light to moderate rain for Central Florida. It'll start to turn a little gusty. There's 10 o'clock on your Thursday morning, and you see more scattered showers and thunderstorms. Most of it, though, hanging out over the Gulf of Mexico, closer to the center of the storm. I think the worst period for us, relatively speaking, where the winds are going to get a little crazy, 40, 50 miles an hour potentially, and then the severe weather threat. It's as we get towards the latter stages of tomorrow afternoon. So that's 4 to 5 o'clock. We got to watch these guys here. This is going to be the prime spot for those tropical tornadoes in those outer bands on the right side. Meteorologist Americo Quinos talked about the right front quadrant and that dirty side of the storm. And then again, there's the center way out here, again, likely making landfall right around the Perry area, again, similar to Idalia, and then eventually going up toward Tallahassee. For more on our local impacts, we'll send it back over to meteorologist Americo Quinos.
And as we take a look here for Marion, Lake and Sumter County, just to break down what Jonathan just showed you, we're expecting 2 to 4 inches of rainfall with isolated maximums, especially near I-75 and back to the west in Marion County, near 6 inches. Winds will be gusting up near anywhere between 30 and 65 miles per hour, depending on how far west you are, will determine how high those wind gusts get. We could even see 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts in Ocala and back to the west. A few tornadoes are quite possible. The same thing as we take a look for Orange Seminole and Osceola County, with the exception of the rain. It's only going to be about 1 to 3 inches, but still that could lead to some localized flooding. Winds will be gusting up near 50 miles per hour at times, and isolated tornadoes can't be ruled out there either. Now, when we look at Flagler, Volusia, and Brevard County, pretty much the same scenario as Orange, Seminole, and Osceola, but what we're looking at are winds whipping at about 30 to 45 mile per hour wind gusts. And then when we go to the coastline, that's where we could really see some strong impacts. We're talking about 8 to 10 foot breaking waves, and then also some possible beach erosion. Jonathan?
Yeah, and of course, rain chance is going to be sky high tomorrow because of the storm. Not an all-day rain. For that, here's a look at your pinpoint accurate forecast.
Sponsored by Strata Air Conditioning and Heating. AC emergency? You ought to call Strata.
So being on that side of the storm, again, we're going to have a band come in, then we might take a lull a little bit, still be breezy, then another band come through, and then that's when things pick up a little bit. But we'll see that 90% shot for thunderstorms tomorrow with those outer bands of Helene sliding through. 60% shot for storms on Saturday, back to an 89%, or a 60% shot with temperatures, I should say, in the upper 80s, right around 90 degrees on Sunday, and then we start to get back to regularly scheduled programming, guys.
All right, Jonathan, thank you. Sports Director Jamie Say is here, and the timing is just right for hockey in Orlando.
Right. Yeah, the Tampa Bay Lightning and the Florida Panthers are in our town for a preseason game tonight. Good thing it was scheduled for tonight. Yeah.
Good thing.
And tomorrow, right, with Helene approaching. I'm going to take you to the Kia Center next, but as we go to break, tickets for the UCF Florida Gator football game are gone. Florida announced the October 5th game at the Swamp is all sold out. More sports next.
Do you feel like we got results for you?
Absolutely. I don't think this ever would have got resolved without you guys helping me.
All right, if you're a hockey fan, have we got a matchup for you?
Yeah, you have been waiting a couple of months for this game tonight, that's for sure. You know, the road to the Stanley Cup may include the City Beautiful for the Florida Panthers or the Tampa Bay Lightning. Florida's NHL teams are in town for hockey night in Orlando tonight. Let's take a live look at the ice inside the Kia Center. There's some fans Puck drops at 7. Now, this is a preseason game. The Lightning and the Panthers have a good rivalry going. Florida knocked Tampa Bay out of the playoffs in the first round. Players aren't on the ice yet for warm-ups. Where are they? But again, the Panthers knocked the Bolts out of the playoffs last year en route to this. End quote. Big problem when it comes to name, image, and likeness.
Get it in writing, Sluka. What are you doing?
All right, Jonathan, what's going on out there?
We saw this one coming too,
Yeah.
unfortunately. Temperatures back to the upper 80s tomorrow. Of course, the big deal is the tropical storm conditions that will start to unfold, especially tomorrow afternoon. 40 to 50 mile per hour gusts can be possible. Really, the severe weather threat is what we're going to be looking for here. Much, much worse, obviously, for our friends in the Big Bend.
Of course. All right, Jonathan. Thank you. Catch more local news on the News 6 Plus Smart TV app. We'll be there in just a minute.
Yeah, we'll see you online at 6:30. Bye.
Breaking news, traffic. When you need to know what's going on in your neighborhood, trust Sky 6 to get the bigger picture. Exclusively sponsored by attorney Dan Newland.